Spoiler alert, this is for people who have read all 8 episodes of Season 1 of The Deuce. It has been far from conventional, but The Deuce finished its remarkable first season this week with something approaching a conventional ending. The writing on this drama, ostensibly about the trade around Times Square in 1970s New York, but inevitably about so much more, has been so impeccable that it resists simplicity at almost every turn. But to break it down simply, it pressed the lesson that it had hinted at all along, that there will always be consequences. The fragile relationships of the world it portrays are built on an imbalance of power that can be lethal, and it is always ready to crumble as its gossamer layers are scorched away. It combines pimp and prostitute, prostitute and John, pimp and pimp, straight guy and mob boss, police officer and journalist, and many, many other iterations of power play, and takes delight in revealing that they are all combustible, if their delicate formulas fall even a tiny bit out of W. It has been some time since a drama has been so insistently involving as this. Given that it is the creation of David Simon and George Pelecanos, it is tempting to state that we haven't seen its like since The Wire, although it gave me the same kind of satisfaction as, say, Mad Men provided. It is a immersive and wholly convincing viewing experience in which I had complete trust in the vision of its creators. Although not as good as The Deuce, I had a similar feeling about Mindhunter, that secure sense that you are in a safe pair of hands. There is something about Simon's work in particular that leads some viewers to want to analyze it with the rigor of an academic paper, and there is plenty of grist to that particular mill here, given that it is about capitalism, trade, industry, economics, race, gender, corruption, crime, culture shifts and plenty more. But within this, it finds a gripping drama, tying together a sprawling cast of characters with experience ease. The Deuce demands attention because it refuses to assume that you will be fiddling with your phone, or anything else. The debate over whether or not it is titillating warrants an analysis of its own, while you try scrolling through Twitter whiling and you end up rewinding to find out that one crucial line of dialogue you missed. That unlocks everything that follows. It is something all shows aspire to, but few have the authority to actually pull off. It credits its audience with enough intelligence to juggle the many complicated facets of this vast knot of the industry, even if it took this particular viewer a little longer than it should have done to realize that James Franco is playing twins, rather than one far-traveling and somewhat unevenly natured character. The finale pulled its already established emotional grip tight, when it put A Tale of Two Cities in Darlene's hands and made Abby into her unwelcome white savior. I knew that I cared deeply about these characters, and at 8 episodes, this time spent in their world felt far too short. If it is true that the show will not go back to many of them, instead jumping forward some years in time for the next season, then they will be missed, and it is a brave decision, when so much now hangs in the balance. The old-fashioned pimps are witnessing a changing of the guard. The reality of being in bed with a mob is becoming clear to Vinny, who perhaps decided not to wrestle with the idea that the basement of his bar might be used for something other than storing whiskey. Certainly this underworld was never sanitized, but Ruby's death was a stark reminder of its hate and violence. The rise of Eileen, or Candy, and the fall of Ruby, or Thunder Thighs, were two sides of the coin in rooting for Eileen's success, and taking satisfaction in her triumph. Are we witnessing the emancipation of one worker, the rise of a new kind of pimp, or something else entirely? The Deuce won't answer any of these questions for you. Simon has said he has little interest in morality. Once you allow the moral question to dominate the narrative, then I think you end up with a stunted argument, and there's only so much that can be said, he told the Observer, although surely part of the pleasure of it is trying to work out where you would stand in the sludge of 42nd Street.